and welcome everybody to this Where to Now webinar, advice from the front lines of internet marketing. And well, who could believe that we actually reached the end of the challenge? Well done to you all. It was a phenomenal result by all involved, and really the completion rates, it was a big risk changing the challenge this year to being, 30-minute lessons and giving you a week off in between. But the stats and the results just absolutely, show without a shadow of a doubt that that was the right way to go. And so many more people were able to keep up to date and keep along with the challenge this year. So that is awesome. And that was very, very pleasing. I'd like to welcome you to this webinar. I want to give you sort of, to me, the 2 or 3 most important things that you can do now and go forward with, because we've effectively done a lot of hand holding over the course of the 7 modules, and now you're out in the mean streets of online, and we want to make sure that you are getting the best advice, and you've got an ability to make judgments and decisions for yourself. So let's get cracking on that. The first lesson that you've got to understand is without traffic, you have nothing. I mean, zip, zero, zilch, not a thing. You've got nothing. You can't, it's not a site. Until there's traffic arriving at that site, you can't test anything. You certainly can't sell anything. You can't do anything. I mean, you are frozen without traffic. So once we've gone through the market research, then that is the last element of all of this. Now, when you're going forward and when you're looking at any of these things, the traffic is such an important thing. And to get traffic, you really need to be in the top 10. Top 10 where it's at. And when I say top 10, of course, the top 10 I'm referring to is Google. That front page of Google, when people type in for your phrase, that's where you need to be. It's nice to get ranked in any spot in Google, and everybody did that very, very effectively. But getting ranked in that in the top 10 is just absolutely crucial. So if we need traffic and we need to be in the top 10, then we have to understand that everything is about your backlinking now. Now, we talked about backlinks through the challenge, and particularly Dan and John from Immediate Edge showed you some examples of places to find backlinks, and we talked about backlinks a lot during the challenge. And I just want to really emphasize to you and explain to you how important it is. It's so super crucial. And here's why. Being a bit of a physics nerd, I know that nothing can move without force being applied to it. Just won't, if you don't, push the rock's not going to move. If there's no force applied to it, the rock doesn't move. It's a fundamental. And the same goes with your website and Google, believe it or not. There are only 2 elements, literally only 2 elements that determine where you are in the search engines and where you move in the search engines. Now, the first thing is, and this may define your slipperiness if I wanted to go down the physics rat hole, and that is your on-screen factors, making sure that, we had your header, your title, your categories, and all those sorts of things done. What we call the on-screen factors. We talked a lot about this in Module 1 and 2 of the challenge. Now, here's the good news. Of course, if you followed along with the challenge, you're done. You're set. You're as on-screen optimized as you are ever going to be. There is nothing else you can do to that. It's an on-off switch. It's either set up and it's done properly, or it's not set up and it's done properly. And that's what I mean by the slipperiness. If you don't have your on-page factors all sorted out, somebody who does have the on-page factors sorted out will go above you, particularly when they have more of this next one, which is, of course, backlinks. So if all challenge websites are already as on-screen optimized as they possibly could be, then there's only one thing we can do to apply force to move our site up the Google rankings, and that is backlinks. Backlinks are what is going to move your site higher. And the amount of those backlinks and the quality of those backlinks are the only two factors involved. Now, there's I see a lot written about backlinks, and there's entire courses. There's numerous studies about backlinks. There's dozens of websites dedicated to the analysis of SEO. But here's what I reckon you need to know, and it's my Forrest Gump approach to backlinks, is that I don't think there's any such thing as a bad backlink. Now, yes, purists among you will definitely point out that there are some bad backlinks, in the sense that if a site has been banned by Google and they backlink to you, that's not going to be good for your site either. But that's a 0.000000001% issue. It's not an issue for people who are doing the challenge. Backlinks that you get are always going to be good backlinks. Now, as we know, as we taught you in the challenge, those backlinks are going to be of varying quality from, and Google uses the phrase PR, the initials PR, page rank, to determine the quality of a page. And if something's a PR8, Google gives it very, 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 very high authority. It thinks it's fantastic. And if it's PR0, then that's a site that's been indexed by Google, but it doesn't really give any authority. It's like the vast, vast majority. And it's important for you guys to realize that, I don't know the exact percentage, but I would guess that well over 95% of the web is PR0. It's only the other 5% that attracts all the PR. So that makes it a big deal to get any sort of backlink, I think, is good. And if you start to analyze, and we showed you in Market Samurai how to analyze backlinks a little bit, if you have a look at your competitors' backlinks, you'll notice that most of theirs are made up of PR0 too. So the first myth that I want to bust is that PR0 links are bad. It's just not true. It is just not true. And then you'll hear a lot about follow and no follow, and I think we made ourselves clear in the challenge on this too, that follow and no follow is irrelevant. For our purposes, for getting you into that top 10, which is what it's all about in the challenge, so we can get some traffic, it's all about those backlinks, and follow or not follow doesn't matter. Now, the other thing that you need to know about backlinks, and this is very, very frustrating, but it's a fact of life and there's nothing we can do about it. Where does Market Samurai get its backlink information from? It gets it from Yahoo. Now, I don't know if you guys have been following along, and who would blame you if you weren't, because that's what, internet marketing geeks like ourselves are paid to follow along, is it, of course, that Microsoft's Bing search engine is effectively replacing Yahoo's search engine. So the backlink data that we get from Yahoo, and that's where Market Samurai gets their data from, is old and it takes a long time to update. So if you are creating backlinks, there's something that you need to learn and just to get comfortable with. That in all likelihood, particularly with PR0 links, you're not likely to see a statistical effect, in other words, Market Samurai reflecting that backlink, for a good 6 weeks. Okay, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that Yahoo's winding down and the backlink data they're not updating as much as they used to. And the second thing is that if it's a PR0 site, and not a lot of people realize this, but it doesn't only talk about, PR doesn't only reflect the authority of the site, it also reflects how often the Google robots, the indexing engines, actually visit your site. And if your site's a PR0, Google's probably likely to visit you once every 30 to 45 days. Whereas if you're a PR7 or a PR8 site, Google's basically sitting on your site. And as soon as you update anything, you'll do this. And I see this with my Twitter feed. Anything I put in my Twitter feed is indexed almost instantaneously. And a lot of Twitter feeds are experiencing that sort of reaction as Google tries to react to the real-time web. So if you've got these backlinks, here's the thing. A lot of people, next piece of very important advice, write this down. Please don't freak out and measure your backlinks. You'll go insane, okay? Because backlinks, what I'm far more interested in, why are we doing backlinks, remember? We're doing it to apply force to our website to push it up. Google's rankings to that top 10 to get on that front page so we can get some traffic, so we can do some testing. So what's a much more reliable and absolutely up-to-date metric that we can absolutely check? And of course, Market Samurai's Rank Tracker shows you beautifully how it does. That's right, it's the good old Rank Tracker service. And that Rank Tracker service is phenomenal, okay? It just works absolutely brilliantly. And it is, rather than you going to have to go away and have a look at all of your sites and see where they are every day and scroll through Google's listings, it'll go out and do it all for you. Phenomenal tool, saves a massive amount of time. But that's what you should be watching. Is your site going up? Is it going down, or is it staying the same? And don't expect it to instantaneously react every time you do a backlink, because it's not how it works. Because remember, if you just made a backlink on a PR0 site and Google was there yesterday, Google's not likely to pick up that backlink for another 30 to 45 days. So you need to follow the processes of backlinking, knowing that you'll see the effect in your rank tracker before you ever see an effect inside of any of the link tracking services, like, for example, Market Samurai and its backlink indicator. So there's a really crucial lesson there that I really wanted to remind you of, because those backlinks, when it comes to SEO, is everything. And look, if you can get a quality backlink, and we showed you a couple of lessons of how to use Market Samurai to do that inside the challenge in the last module, then you have the ability to move your site up if you create those backlinks. So it's so crucial that you use the things that we taught you to be creating backlinks. And the other key to backlinks is consistency. It's doing it on a regular basis. You don't have us to watch every day now, so use that time to create some backlinks. Because again, Market Samurai shows you the work you have to do to beat your competitors in that top 10 phrase. Now, first thing I led off with inside the challenge, you might remember it was the last lesson of the pre-season, or the first lesson of the entire thing. I referred to the magnificent symphony. And that, the magnificent symphony was absolutely everything. It's still absolutely everything. It's how I guide and work and process and do everything that I do. Absolutely everything is governed by the magnificent symphony. And if you'll remember it, I hope you can repeat it back to me, is that, of course, it's market research, traffic, conversion, and product creation. And it's crucial that you have this committed to memory, because when you look at going forward on your site, you'll see that it's such a beautiful tool to help you analyze about what you should be doing next. Because just like we focused on market research, and let me tell you, obviously I'm horribly biased, but the first 2 weeks, the first 2 modules are as good as training as you will see anywhere on the planet about market research. I mean, it is absolutely up-to-date, top-quality information on how to research your market properly. There is nothing better out there. And with that market research, as we said, we do that first, and we focus on that first, because that's where 95% of the problems are. It's also worth noting, and this is something that that literally has occurred in the last couple of days, is that you'll notice Google has completely changed the data that it delivers out to people, and that has had a pretty dramatic impact on some people's traffic scores when you look at Market Samurai. And a lot of times I've seen them lower. I've seen a couple of occasions where it's higher, but I think it's good news overall, because the more accurate data that we have available, the better. So very interesting for you to go and have a look at Market Samurai and have a look at those traffic numbers. They've also got a wonderful filter. They've also got some wonderful filtering, so you can automatically filter for the golden filters, which I thought was very cool, which is wonderful for challenge people, which is great. So with the market research, we solve most of the problems. Then, of course, we've got traffic, because as I started off this entire webinar, if we don't have traffic, we ain't got anything. It's just the facts. We don't have a single thing. So we need to get traffic, and we need to test for traffic. And that's what we really focused on in the challenge. And then finally, at the end, we did look at that conversion. Now, as you're establishing yourself, ultimately, you'll only have one of 4 challenges when you go forward in your online business. You'll either have a market research challenge, and there's not much I can do about that because the market research stuff should be done at the start. I suppose market research can confirm to you why you're having a problem, but ultimately that's why we emphasize it so much, because you should research everything intensely, and the whole challenge, of course, is testing a market. So really, once you're established and you have your site up and going, you have 3 issues. You have traffic challenges. You're just not getting enough traffic to your site. You have a conversion issue. You're getting plenty of traffic to your site, but nobody's buying anything, or nobody's taking the action that you want them to take. Or 3, you don't have product creation. You don't have a product, or you're struggling with creating a product for the market. They're the 3 challenges that you have in any business, online business. And to me, this is a really, really crucial tool for analysis, because when you think about it, there's so much stuff that you have access to, so many tools, so many courses, so many everything that's being thrown at you every day, some by me, in fact. You need to be able to have an analysis of what's right for you in a particular point in time. And to me, what's a brilliant way to do that is to use the Magnificent Symphony and ask yourself, where am I having the challenges at the moment? Am I having traffic challenges? Am I having conversion challenges? Am I having product challenges? And let that be your filter. Let that be your filter for things. Something I'm very, very passionate about at the moment, not my thing at all, is Kajabi as an online platform for making your business. Now, let's apply the Magnificent Symphony to that. Is Kajabi a traffic system? No, absolutely not. It's not going to help you in and of itself get traffic. Is it conversion? Well, yes, it is to an element, because some of those opt-in pages, which we know work so well for conversion, are there and available to you for push buttons. So it could help you if you've got a conversion issue. But where it really shines, of course, is in product as well. Like, its content delivery system is just awesome. So awesome, in fact, that I'm going to be rolling out our next new product, which is going to be the Dominiche product on it. And indeed, we're going to show our Challenge Plus and Edge members how we do that, which is pretty funky as well. But do you see how you can analyze something like that? So if you've got traffic, if you're not getting traffic to your site, then something like Kajabi, for example, is not going to help you right now. You need to get traffic, so you need to think about traffic and what's going to be useful. If it's a conversion problem, it could be something that's very useful. So do you see how this works? If you apply those filters, I think it's a very, very important way to go about it. Okay, now I am going to switch screens here, so bear with me for a second. And I just wanted to show you, here we are, good old Module 7, Day 7, shot there in the skyline of Sydney. And we talked about where to now. And I wanted to show you sort of what we're doing in terms of helping you guys take the next steps. And the first thing I wanted to show you, and I think take the opportunity to show you internally, because I think people will be very interested about that, is our next steps, if you will. And the very next step that we created, and we created this specifically to be an extension of the challenge, is, funnily enough, Challenge Plus. And at the moment, for the next week or so, we've got a special offer on it, so that rather than it being a $37 product, if you use the coupon code, you can get it for $27. Now, that's $27 a month, which I think is very, very fair and reasonable if you have a look at the content. So, you know, this will look intimately familiar to you because it's obviously designed by the wonderful Andrew Nisbet, who also designed the challenge, and so it'll be very familiar to you. We have this blog here, and you can see with this blog, every time that we put a new lesson up, we create a blog post, And then you can go into the blog post and you can go and find it in the library. Now, the big difference between Challenge and Challenge Plus, and this is something that people really have to understand, is the good old Challenge, as you remember, Module 1, Step 1, Day 1, right? It was very, very step by step. Whereas the Challenge Plus, its reason for being is about showing you how to create product, showing you about market leadership, and showing you about all the new things that happen. Because you can't expect it to not only run your business, but then be completely up to date on everything that's happening in terms of internet marketing. You just can't be expected to. So what we did was we created a course with this Challenge Plus. So it works very familiarly, if you will, to what we did in Challenge, but it's all about what's going on now. So you sort of dip in and go to where things that are interesting to you are available. So, for example, Google Instant was a very big deal that was released last week, and so we have a entire course here on Google Instant and what we think the ramifications are of that product. And we could go into
today
all of that.
We are going to look at Google Instant.
Pause that. So rather than you go and have to see, is Google, is that going to be an important thing for my business? Is that going to be something that's going to be an impact? Is it something I can ignore from now on? Then all these questions are there. And of course, what's fantastic, and I suppose what you love about the challenge is, of course, everything is also done in transcripts. We release the transcripts a few days later after the video, and so you can have a look at all of the transcripts as well, which is just fantastic. So you have, and let me just show that there. So we literally go through, and you can see all the different things that we're talking about. They really are super, super high quality. They're really, really so impressive. Dom does an amazing job, as you've seen in the challenge, how to do all of that. And we're just trying to keep you completely up to date on everything that's important. Things like, going local, for example. It's a series on local businesses and being ranked for one of the best opportunities, I think, going around at the moment. Is something that we covered in September. And you can see good old related resources, stuff that we do. It's all here in the library. And if you go to the library, of course, the way the library is laid out, of course, is that it is done by month. And we also have, look at this, an archive section where we look at different elements like, using Skype and setting up Skype for interviews, audio recording and editing, list management. A big thing going forward, of course, is all about, how to create a list, how to set up a mail like Aweber, and, building an email list so that you can market to that list. All different looks of product creation, power of local domains, link building strategies, creating a video using slideshows. I think this is one of the most popular Challenge Plus lessons ever, because a lot of people don't like sticking their head in front of a video, but they love doing it as a slideshow. So we talked all about that. Also Google Wave, you can skip that lesson. There's all sorts of different, a huge amount of content that is here and is available to you guys. And what we also do is we do Q&A sessions. We do things like, look at this, this was an article on the FTC, new FTC regulations. When things go wrong, it really is about trying to cover off and make everything available to you guys. That means that you can concentrate on building your business, and we'll keep you up to date. Another very, very cool feature, of course, of the Challenge Plus content is that, just like with the challenge itself, you actually get your own unique iTunes feed, so that you can actually get all of the, if you set it up, you can get all of the Challenge Plus information available to you, straight down to your iPhone or your iPod. I love it, getting it that way, so you can see what's up to date. So it's really is about dipping in and out, and making that available. Now, if you have a look here at the website here, you can see Challenge Plus. If you click on Challenge Plus there, and if you go, now of course I'm logged in, great, well done, didn't think about that. If you go to challengeplus.co, you'll see that is where you can sign up. And as I say, we look with the Challenge Plus, we think given the price point, we don't offer guarantees per se for the challenge, but you can you can log out any time, you can cancel at any time. It is a monthly membership service. So that is Challenge Plus. The other thing I wanted to show you was Immediate Edge, and Immediate Edge is really our flagship program. Now, the thing that about Immediate Edge is, of course, the first thing I need to show you is, if I click on here, is that all the Challenge Month Plus content is available on Immediate Edge as well. It's not subscription based. You don't get the iTunes functionality of Challenge Plus, but you get everything else. So the Immediate Edge gives you all the Challenge Plus, but then I suppose it does have a whole bunch of other stuff. So, for example, what we're looking at here with the dashboard, you can see that we have a new users section and obviously a video, but we have all the latest training, talking about backlinks here and different services like Noam, and then latest blueprints like content networks and so on. Now, the thing you've got to know about the Edge is that it is all about not only obviously we cover the latest and the basics in Challenge Plus. So if that's where you're at the moment, Challenge Plus is probably going to be absolutely wonderful for you. With the Edge, it's all about taking that and looking at all the other different methods, all the different traffic methods like content networks, like pay-per-click, all of these different things that are available. And you can see, of course, you can keep up to date with the latest, Challenge Plus information. And you can see there, this product creation course, I was really, really excited about. It's just, we're showing a planning, how we literally plan to create a product. We're doing a new product, and it's all about how we initially sketch out and how we do all of the different elements that we create when we're creating a product. So we've got all the let's have a look. We've got all the Challenge Plus. Let's go back to the dashboard. Now, one of the interesting things, and again, this is sort of makes a differential between the Edge and Challenge Plus, for example, is if we go into training, it's sort of all module based. In other words, just like I said, if you want to figure out about testing and tracking, then you click in on the testing and tracking, and you can see here that you'll see content that is exclusive to the Edge there, and you can also see if there's a Challenge Plus article, it's also been sorted into its different categories, so testing and tracking. So we've tried to take all of the different elements, you pick product creation, blog farms, CPA, business building, outsourcing, anything that we've done on any of these products, you can see all of the information is there and available to you. So there's a whole bunch of creating a 99 designs project, for example, all of these elements, and they're all in each different section, which is really, really cool. Now you'll notice, I don't know if you notice here on the right hand side, your activity, you can actually make a note, and you can keep notes to yourself inside the Edge about different things that you've implemented for your project. So you can literally go and add a new project, and this will keep track of all of those different things as you're going through, which I think is a really, really spiffy way to do things. So, and they can be followed, like if you go back to the dashboard, you've got a Your Projects section there, so you can click and follow your projects, which is great. Now, new training courses are sort of in the blueprints. So if you have a look at the the blueprints. So you can see, you know, there's one on sniper traffic here and another on blog farms. Both very, very interesting strategies. We've taught you one way of gaining traffic. And, of course, there are a bunch. There are three fundamentals, I think. There's SEO, there's pay-per-click, and then there's your other sort of, and your market leadership. They're the three broad categories. But under those categories, there are a bunch of different techniques. So, you know, and I think that's what we've tried to do here. Now, if you have a look here at, if we go into the library, there's a whole bunch of free stuff. Like if you have a look at the, you know, in terms of the extras section here, you can see all different sorts of courses and articles and things that are available for you to have access to. So if you have a, you know, if you have a problem or you want to get some Web 2.0 headers, if you want to learn about article directories, you know, a whole bunch of shipping, you know, anything, you know, a whole bunch of different elements, you know, look, all of this, there's a lot of stuff here, you know, different programs and courses that Dan has acquired that you guys are able to use. You know, one of my favorite news services is on the Edge is this great site review area. So you type in your name, username, your website, any comments, and so on, and you can see you'll get site reviews done. Now, obviously, if you submit your site to a site review on the Edge, it will, of course, if it's chosen to be doing, you are 100% happy to have your website revealed to everyone. And you can see, you know, looking at all of the, you know, what does they say here? Are not responsible for any change in search engine ranking, conversion rate, or changes in income for the website reviewed, or any changes you make to it. We do not guarantee your site will be reviewed, because obviously we get a bunch of them. So, you know, but it's nice to be able to, you know, submit your site, and it's possibly will be reviewed by the team, which is a fantastic way to do that. We occasionally do that in terms of, you know, when we have monthly Q&As and all of those sorts of things. So I think you can see, you know, if we finish off here, if you look at the blog on the Edge, you know, this is where all the latest information is available, and you can see here this is a Challenge Plus course that's available to you. Now, the thing with the Immediate Edge is you can get the Immediate Edge, and at the moment and for a very short time, you can get it for $1 trial. But after the $1 trial, which you get for 14 days, it's a $99 a month program. And I think you can see the difference. Challenge Plus has awesome, incredible content, and I think it's perfect for the next step for people. And then the Edge is really about all of the Challenge Plus and that more. So people who are really keen on doing an online business tend to end up on the Edge. And the cool thing is that you can test it out for $1, and for 14 days. And if you like it, then you'll get in at the cheaper price. Usually it's at $130, but at the moment you'll be able to get it for $99 a month. So you've got the wonderful Edge at $99 a month, which you can get for a $1 free trial. And of course, Challenge Plus, which is really, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, $27 a month. I mean, it's less than a latte a day. It's like a quarter of a latte per day. You know, just to keep completely up to date with what's going on online and in online business and everything that's going on. You know, I look at this Google Trends. You know, that was just this amazing sanity check process which Rob Somerville had created, just to confirm when you see ridiculous traffic numbers to wonder whether that is useful or not. I mean, it works so well. It works brilliantly well. And, you know, these are the sorts of things. You can see here we've got a Q&A webinar where we look at sites and answer people's questions, and we do all of those sorts of elements. So you've got the two options, and to get to either of those options, we can have a look here at the, oops, not there, sorry, oops. Here we are on Module 7, Day 7. you can have a look, and you can go to Challenge Plus to click there to find out about that, and Immediate Edge if you are interested in doing that. So that's the formal part of the presentation.